Hi, Meredith. How are you doing?
I'm well. So how can I help you, Jack?
Before we start the questions, is it all right if I just consent with you that I'm recording this call? Is that all right with you?
Of course, no problem at all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, Meredith, I'd like to ask you some questions about your profession and to give like a good oversight in what I really want to get myself into in the near future.
Okay, great.
All right, Meredith. So, let's start off. What is your full name and just what is your profession?
Yeah. So my name is Meredith, Meredith Reagans, Ragain, as in November, S as in Sierra, and I am the executive director of a nonprofit organization called Georgia Lawyers for the Arts.
Yes, ma'am. No, that is fantastic to hear. Alrighty. And how long have you been working as like either as a lawyer or just in the profession, like in this profession?
Yeah, I've been a lawyer for about 25 years. I practice law at a law. I clerk for a federal judge, and then I worked for a couple of law firms. And then in 2013, I went over to GLA and became the executive director.
Oh no, alrighty. And now before you became one, did you knew like early on that you wanted to become a lawyer? Or just something that just came to be?
Yeah, I think I realized in high school that that was a real option for me. I wasn't great in the sciences, and was a little bit more of a writer um, and reader, and so I think in high school it started coming together that I had an interest in becoming a lawyer.
I can relate to that. And was like just entertainment law or just working with artists like your first like was that the practice you wanted to practice first, or did you want to do like criminal, marital, or any other type of practice?
Well, I just wanted to get a job, to be honest.
I can
Um,
understand that.
I didn't really have any specific goal about the area of law I was going to practice in. I knew that I was like a litigator was probably like somebody who goes to court. That was in my skill set. So when after I left my clerkship, I got a job offer from a great firm to go into their commercial litigation practice group. And commercial litigation is basically where you are kind of fighting over contract terms. You know, the parties have a contract, and the deal goes south. It wasn't. I didn't get into entertainment law or like intellectual property law until I came over to GLA 10 years ago.
Very nice, very nice. Now you keep mentioning the GLA or the Georgia Lawyers for Artists. What is that? You say it's a nonprofit organization. It wasn't like a. It's not a regular law firm, correct?
That's right. I mean, we operate sort of in some ways like a law firm, but we don't charge our clients. They get we do their work for free.
Wow.
Um,
So like pro bono.
and That's right. It's pro bono, and so they have to qualify for pro bono services. They have to. Our clients are in poverty. We check their financials, their tax returns to make sure that they qualify for our services. We do some of the work in house, but we also have a network of about 200 lawyers who take our cases pro bono.
Wow. So what type of artists do you work with?
Every type of artist. We are very broad in who we sort of define as an artist. So it could be a painter, it could be a musician, a culinary artist, you know, any sort of performing artist, playwrights, you know, any person who writes, basically anyone who, you know, someone would consider to be an artist, a writer, a performing artist, a sculptor, a painter, a fine artist, they would qualify for our
Oh,
services as an artist.
wow. All right. Now that's very neat. That's very cool. Now, what does a typical day of work looks like to you?
So I am really I mean my day is more like going out and meeting with our donors, meeting with our getting to know the legal community. I don't practice law as much as I did when I was at the law firm for sure. So I'm my job with the organization is to kind of be the face of the organization. I'm It's a pretty public job, so I'm like going to meetings, meeting people, engaging law firms, trying to raise money for the organization, and also get people to become interested in providing pro bono services to our clients. So, for example, I just left a lunch meeting where I met potential folks or saw, develop relationships at from 3:30 to 5:30. There's a pro bono roundtable with all of the law firms and all of the like legal aid type organizations in the city. So that's a quarterly meeting. So I'll see like people who are really invested in pro bono in our city. And so that's kind of a typical day for me. Going to lunch with somebody, um, making sure we're visible in the city, and meeting people who, like I said, potential donors or our donors, and and trying to get people to take our cases.
Oh yes, ma'am. I got you. Now, when you did work at the law firm, just as a typical lawyer, what type of skills were required of the job that were necessary?
What skills?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, you have to have really good writing skills. That's really important. You have to have really good analytical skills. So, um, you read a set of facts and you you analyze the situation as it relates to the law. So I would say reading and writing and analytical skills are the most important. If you want to be, there are two types of lawyers essentially. One is litigators, and those folks go to trial. So if you want to be a litigator, um, you know, sort of oral skills are important. But there's another set of lawyers who are the transactional lawyers. They write the contracts, they write the deals, um, and so those folks don't go to court. But so um, I would say, if you want to be a litigator, sort of oral advocacy, and that sort of skill would be important.
Oh yes, ma'am. Alrighty. So, have you? What are the type of cases that the GLA or the Georgia Lawyers for Artists actually do for their clients? Like trade. I'm guessing trademark and copyright are some of
Yeah,
their things.
exactly. We draft a lot of contracts. We also help them with copyright issues. So copyright law um, is what protects artists' work. So if somebody writes a book, copyright law is what protects their works from being taken by somebody else without that artist being compensated. So we help them with copyright issues, with trademark issues, which is like their logo, their brand. Um, we help them with litigation. So if they get sued or if they need to sue somebody, it can even be a lease agreement. There are just any number of contracts. So I would say those are sort of the main things that we do for the artists.
No, yes, ma'am. Now we only just have just two more questions.
Okay.
What are some of the pros and cons of doing this job?
My job is the ED.
Or yeah, we can do both ED and your time as a
Or
lawyer.
more like, entertainment slash, IP law.
Yeah, we can do you can do both if you want, by all means. But yeah, we just need some of the pros or cons of the job.
But which specifically? I mean, I know.
Let's. Oh yes, man. I'm sorry. Let's go with just as a lawyer. How about that?
Okay, as a lawyer in general.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The pros are that you have a skill has a legal issue and they write a letter to someone, it's not going to have the force that a lawyer has. Um, there's a great, such a need for, especially pro bono, that really in a way that someone who's not a lawyer can't help. Just like, if you're a doctor, you can help somebody in a way that people who aren't doctors can't. It's a really specialized skill, and it really is. We're trying to get people out of jams or get them in a better place, and I think that's the best part. The downside is, it can be a grind. Um, Depending on where you work, it can be you can work really, really, really hard, and it can be very stressful. Um, the pay is really good if you are working at certain places, but it also comes with a price. Um, and so I don't know. But there are a lot of ways to use a law degree, and a lot of them are for the public good, but also you're helping clients. So I would say that's sort of my take on the pros and the cons of being a lawyer.
Alrighty, yes, ma'am. Now, one more question. This is the last one. Now, what advice would you give to any newcomer coming into this line of work?
You talking about somebody who is like your age who's thinking about going to law school, or someone who is already a young lawyer?
Who's probably like went to law school and then like probably is becoming a lawyer. But if you want, we
Okay.
can do both as well. Just any advice you would give someone. Like,
Well, I actually teach at Emory Law School, and this is what I tell the students: when you get your first job, you got to bust it. You have to work really, really, really hard. You're always being evaluated by your superiors. Like and you can screw things up. You're not going to be perfect, but you have to be as on as possible. Like, you have to quadruple check all of your work, because your clients are paying a lot of money per hour, and you just have to be on. You have to be thinking all the time, and sometimes it's easy when you read over your work, and I do this myself, like you're just kind of going through the motions because you're tired of writing it, but you just have to keep focusing. So I would say that for a new lawyer, you have to just grind it out those first few years while you're establishing your reputation. The other thing I would say for anybody is take initiative. Do not wait for your boss to just tell you what to do. Like, be thinking through your job or how you can add value to your job, and go to them with, and it may not be anything, it may not be a value, but at least you're showing. I mean, let your boss or bosses make those decisions, but I think, take on, show that you're interested in taking on more work, or that anything where you take initiative, I think is very well received. So those are my comments.
all right. No, yes, ma'am. No, Meredith.
Don't just wait for somebody to like say, well, here's what I want you to do. Like, be proactive, and that gets attention by bosses and by superiors.
All righty. Well, no, again, Meredith, I cannot thank you enough for talking to me. You've been
You're
just
welcome.
tremendous in this interview. Again, thank you so much.
Well, I'm sorry that we got our wires crossed. I hope that this isn't too late getting to you, but
Not at all. It's just in the nick of time. All right. Again.
Well, good luck, and I hope that the assignment goes well for you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm hoping as well. But again, thank you for calling, Meredith. You have a great day now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.